The town of Savannah, Georgia, was the kind of place where the streets carried whispers of history. Old oak trees lined the cobblestone squares, their branches draped with Spanish moss, and the sound of church bells often floated through the air. It was in this charming southern city that Emma Collins, a 16-year-old high school student, lived with her parents in a modest brick house near Forsyth Park. Emma was thoughtful and quiet, with hazel eyes that seemed to hold questions about the world. She often walked through the park with a notebook in hand, sketching flowers or jotting down pieces of poetry she was too shy to share with anyone. Emma's life was simple, guided by school, family dinners, and long afternoons spent either at the library or helping her mom in the kitchen. Yet beneath her calm routine was the curiosity of youth, the sense that life was larger than the streets she knew, waiting for her just beyond the horizon. It was at the start of spring when she met Noah Parker. He had recently moved from Denver, Colorado, because his father had taken a teaching position at the local university. Noah was 17, tall with sandy blonde hair and an easy smile that made him seem approachable. Unlike Emma, he was outgoing, quick to make friends, and already a part of the high school's basketball team. Still, even with his confidence, there was a thoughtfulness about him, the kind that showed in how he listened when others spoke. They met in the most ordinary way, at the library. Emma had been sitting at a corner table, her notebook open as she copied lines from a book of poetry. Noah, searching for a history book, passed by and accidentally dropped one of his binders. Papers scattered across the floor, sliding under Emma's table. Startled, she bent down to help gather them. "Thanks," Noah said, his cheeks slightly red as he stuffed the papers back inside. Emma smiled faintly. "You're welcome. You're new here, right?" "Yeah," he admitted. "I'm Noah. Just moved from Denver last month." "Emma," she replied softly. "Welcome to Savannah." Something about that brief exchange felt different, as though the quietness of the library had allowed them to notice each other more fully than they would have in the noisy school hallways. From then on, they began to notice each other everywhere, passing in the corridors, walking home through the same streets, sometimes sharing a table in the library when no other seats were left. One afternoon, Noah asked, "Do you always write in that notebook?" Emma hesitated, hugging it close. "It's just sketches and poems. Nothing important." "Can I read one?" he asked gently, his voice more curious than demanding. Her face turned pink. "Maybe someday." He grinned. "I'll wait for that day." That simple moment planted the first seed of friendship. Over the following weeks, their connection grew naturally. They studied together, sometimes strolled through the park after school, and shared stories about their families. Noah told her about Colorado, the mountains, the snow, the hikes he used to take. Emma shared her love for Savannah, the festivals, the warm weather, and the way the city seemed alive with stories from long ago. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the sky in orange and pink, they sat on a bench near the fountain at Forsyth Park. Children ran past them, laughing, while the water sprayed gently in the background. "You know," Noah said, breaking the silence, "when I first moved here, I thought it would be hard. Leaving my friends, starting over. But it doesn't feel so bad anymore." Emma glanced at him, her voice soft. "Why not?" He looked at her, his eyes calm and sincere. "Because I met you." Her breath caught, and though she didn't answer right away, her heart skipped in a way she had never felt before. Their friendship slowly blossomed into something more, though they didn't rush to name it. It showed in the way Emma felt braver sharing her poems with him, in how Noah always saved a seat for her in class, and in the long walks where they didn't need to speak much because being near each other was enough. One Friday evening, their high school hosted a spring carnival. The field was filled with bright lights, game stalls, and the smell of popcorn drifting through the air. Emma went with her friends at first, but when she spotted Noah shooting hoops at one of the stalls, she drifted toward him. He noticed her immediately, flashing a grin. "Want to try?" he asked, handing her the ball. "I'm terrible at this," she admitted, laughing nervously. "That's okay," he encouraged. "I'll show you." He guided her hands gently, showing her how to hold the ball, how to aim. The first shot missed completely, and she blushed. But when she tried again, it bounced off the rim and dropped through the net. She gasped in surprise, and Noah cheered louder than anyone else. "That's my teammate," he said proudly, and Emma laughed, her heart light. They spent the rest of the night wandering between stalls, sharing cotton candy, and riding the Ferris wheel. As the wheel carried them high above the lights, Emma gazed out at the city below. The air was cool, and her heart felt strangely full. "Emma," Noah said quietly, "I know we're young and maybe this is silly, but I like you. Not just as a friend. She turned to him, her cheeks warming. For a moment, words failed her, but then she whispered, I like you too. Their hands found each other naturally, resting together as the Ferris wheel turned slowly under the starry sky. It was innocent, simple, and yet so powerful in its truth. From that night on, their bond deepened. They studied harder, encouraged each other through tests and challenges, and celebrated small victories. Emma grew more confident, reading her poems aloud at a school event with Noah cheering in the front row. Noah, in turn, felt steadier knowing Emma believed in him, even when the pressure of basketball tournaments grew heavy. Their love was never about dramatic declarations. It was about the little things, the notes Emma slipped into Noah's locker wishing him luck, the sketches she made of him laughing, the way he always walked her home after dark, even if it meant going out of his way. As summer approached, they both knew life would continue to change. College and adulthood loomed on the horizon. But for that moment, they were content in their innocent love, a love that made them stronger, braver, and more hopeful. On their last day of school before summer break, they returned to the park bench where it had all begun. The fountain bubbled gently, and the air was filled with the sound of cicadas. Promise me, Noah said softly, that no matter where we go in life, we'll remember this. Emma smiled, her notebook resting on her lap. I'll write it down so I never forget. And with that, she opened a fresh page and wrote, The Innocent Love of Emma and Noah, Savannah, Georgia. Years later, when life carried them into different cities, different jobs, and different responsibilities, Emma would often look back at that page. She would remember the warmth of the spring air, the laughter under carnival lights, and the quiet strength of a love that asked for nothing but honesty and care. Because innocent love, once written in the heart, never truly fades.